guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is part 2 of the So You Want to Be a PT series. You may have seen part 1, which I spoke about the courses you can take to become a personal trainer, and I will link that all below so you can go check that out. But today we're talking about what you do once you've qualified and how you go about building a business and a career in the health and fitness industry as a personal trainer. So, without further ado, let's start the video. Let's just get going. We've got a lot to get through, so stop rambling, Tally. That's the one. Stop rambling. In this video, we're going to talk about how to build a business, how you're going to meet new clients, how to market yourself in your area as well as social media, and then I'm going to answer some of your questions too. So, let's start with how to build a personal training business. So, this honestly depends on which route you decide to take, whether you choose to work for a gym, like we spoke about in the last video, whether you choose to be employed by a gym and they pay you a kind of part of the rate of a PT and you get a regular wage, or whether you choose to do freelance PT and be self-employed, which is what I chose to do. So I'm probably going to end up speaking a lot more about that today, just because that's obviously my personal experience and that's what I know most about. But ultimately that's what you need to decide what you're going to do, whether you want to go freelance, whether you want to be employed. If you're going freelance, you'll most likely have to pay gym rent. Once again, touched on that in the last video. But you need to work out how much you need to charge so you can cover your gym rent and cover your own expenses before you start making a profit. So once you've qualified, it's really important that you should come up with a bit of a business plan, so you know you have certain goals and targets that you need to reach over the weeks and months, so you can build your business. When I was started at Fitness First, they were really clear about how to do this. They were really helpful actually, and our rent was taken weekly. So what you did is you kind of worked out how many sessions a week you needed to do to earn your rent, and then everything after that was a bonus, so to speak. Obviously you've got your own expenses to pay, but that's how we worked it out. So for example, when I worked at Fitness First, 5 sessions would cover my gym rent, and then I'd kind of work out how many more sessions a week I'd like to do, which is up to you. It could be anything from 20 sessions a week, depending on what your other commitments are, up to like 40, 50 sessions a week, which personally I couldn't do because I find PT pretty taxing, and I don't think I would be on my after about 30 sessions, I think my brain power's gone and you wouldn't get the best service. But that's just my personal opinion. Then you need to set your prices. So this is tricky. It totally depends on your area, on what the going rate is in the area. So go and do some market research. Find out what the other PTs in your specific gym are charging, but then find out what other freelancers are charging, you know, if they PT in the park or the other competitor gyms. Find out what the going rate is and then base your prices off of that. Now, do not undervalue yourself, but do not overvalue yourself. Know your skill set, know your strengths, know where you're at in your career. You've just qualified as a PT and these are your first clients. So I wouldn't be going to charge £100 an hour. I think that's, you know, pushing it, to say the least. Even in London, I think it's really important that you really think about, you know, what everyone else is doing and your personal strengths, and kind of work out a price that represents that and that you believe in and that you can sell to people, because part of being a PT is being a salesman, and you need to believe in your product and you need to believe that you're worth it. So that's really, really important too. And I think that was one of the key things we learned when I did my PT course, was that know your value as a PT and don't be afraid or shy of how much you're charging, because ultimately you have to make a living. You've got to pay that gym rent, so people should pay your prices. Now then, you've got the options of how you set up your prices. Do you go down the traditional packages route where people buy 10 sessions from you, or do you do a pay-as-you-go where people just pay you every week or for every session? Or do you do another way of doing a package system, which is what I do, which is set up a monthly payment. This is probably one of the best things I did as a personal trainer. I did it very early on in my career, and I've been doing it now for nearly 18 months, and it has been a game changer in terms of regulating my income and giving me a stable income. So I decided to set up a scheme whereby I ask my clients to sign up with me for 12 weeks, 3 months, and they can choose how many sessions they want to do a week, 1, 2 or 3 sessions a week, and then we base the prices around that, and then that comes up with a monthly price which they pay me every month. So it's not a big outgoing for them. It's affordable, as well as keeping my income regular, and I know that after that it's kind of a rolling contract and people just pay me monthly, and we both know where we stand financially, so I strongly recommend giving that one a go. So you've set up your business, you've come with your business plan, you've set your prices, you've got a model of how you're going to charge them, but how are you going to meet your clients? Where do they come from? This is probably one of the hardest parts for PTs. Where are my clients coming from? Who are the people I'm training? You've kind of, milked your friendship group for all it's worth, but now you need to meet the real people that are going to invest in you and just be the core of your business. Obviously, working in a gym, it's so much easier. Working in a gym, it's more simple. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. You can take a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. I've seen many a PT be in the middle of a packed gym and just not make the most of that situation and not know how to develop their business or how to meet people. I'm going to talk from my personal experience and the things that I've done, so I can't speak for everyone else's tips, but this is what I have found to be successful for me. One of the first things I got told when I started at Fitness First by one of my managers was that everyone you meet is a potential client, and it couldn't be more true. The person who serves you in Starbucks, potential client. The lady at the checkout in Sainsbury's, potential client. The person you bump into at the bus stop and just randomly start talking to, a potential client. You need to live and breathe your job if you're self-employed, especially. Really just be promoting yourself all the time, and just constantly say, yes, I'm a personal trainer, this is what I do. It's networking, it's meeting people that you could potentially train, promoting yourself and your job. Of course, you're going to have the members you meet in your gym, and most gyms have systems set up in place so that they kind of filter clients to you and you get to meet people. However, I would strongly suggest, like I said in the last video, get involved in teaching classes. It is a game changer. Well, for me it certainly was. I started teaching spin when I very first started. I still teach it now, even though I don't work in the gym. I still go back and teach spin, and I meet people every week, and they really become loyal to me, and I see the same faces week in, week out. They know me now, so they know to come to me to ask for advice. They don't know, the 10 other PTs on the gym floor, but they know me because they've been coming to classes, so they feel comfortable asking me questions, and I'm more than happy to help them. Equally, if your gym does big classes on the gym floor, I know that's really popular in big gyms at the moment, like Fitness First and Virgin, for example. You'll often be asked to teach those classes as part of your hours and stuff like that. Get involved in those classes and show off what you can do. That is like a little stage where everyone can see your talents. You're going to design a really cool workout for people to do, and people are going to see your energy, going to see you once again as a PT in the gym that they've seen working, so that they would trust more to approach and talk to. And then it's really important, once again, to make the most of that situation and talk to everyone after the class, ask them how they got on, make sure you're correcting them throughout the class, commenting on their form and everything like that. And then we're going to lead to the next point. This is the key moment to start offering people, would they like a free session with you? Now, I can't tell you how many free sessions I've given as a personal trainer. In fact, it's a bit of a staple in my business that every single person who wants to PT with me always gets a free session no matter what. That is because I think of it as like a try on. If you go to a shop, you get to try the clothes on. For a PT, you need to be able to try your client out. You might think maybe this isn't a good fit for me, and equally your client definitely needs to know whether they like your training, they like your style, if they think you're worth the money you're asking for, and everything like that. So I think it's really important that you give as many free sessions as possible. It does mean you're going to go without for a little bit, and in those first few months you do have to tread water, so make sure you've got some savings to keep you going, but eventually they will pay off. and you'll start to build a nice client base. As you progress and you get that solid client base, after a few months, you've got your clients referring you clients. You've got, word of mouth going on, and that is the biggest tool as a personal trainer. That's when you've really made it. When people recommend you as a trainer, that is fantastic, because half the work is already done. You don't have to constantly sell yourself. People have already given you their endorsement. So that's really great. Now I want to talk about what qualities I think are essential for a personal trainer. And these aren't probably going to be the qualities you think about. I think a lot of people associate personal trainers with having an awful lot of knowledge about the human body, about movement, about training, about nutrition, and all these things. However, if you can have all the information in the world, you can know everything, and yet if you can't communicate that in a relatable way, in a down-to-earth manner, and in a way that your client understands, you won't be able to do your job properly, and you won't be able to keep that client because they just feel blinded by science. It's interesting. Some people do like to be spoken to in really technical ways, but I would say for the majority of people, they don't want to feel embarrassed that they don't know what you're talking about, and they want to feel like they understand what's going on. So don't, overwhelm them with all your knowledge in one go. Filter it to them in a way that they can understand, and they can start implementing your little tips into their training, into their nutrition, things like that. My fundamental quality for a good PT is that they have good people skills and they're able to build relationships with their clients. Like I said before, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't communicate it, you can't do well. But equally, you really have to create this trust between yourself and your client. Your client needs to trust you, that you know what you're doing and that you're going to help them get the results. But equally, you need to trust your client that they're going to go out there and put in the work when they're not with you. And it's so important to really work on that relationship with your clients. So don't just train your client and go home. Make sure you're really building rapport with that client. Get to know their life, let them get to know you a little bit. Don't be afraid to share information. That's personally my biggest tip in life. When I meet people, I'm an open book, because if I'm an open book, then I hope people will be an open book with me back, and then we can work together. I think that has been the key thing for me personally, is just making sure that I am someone's friend, but I am their trainer. So I'm their friend, but they know there's a line where we don't cross, and we work, and they respect me, they respect my judgment, they respect my opinion, and they get their training done. I think it's also really important to note that as a PT, like I said before, your work doesn't start and end in your hour session, in your 45-minute session. You have to do a lot of work beforehand to prep that session, and you have to do a lot of work afterwards, when you're probably communicating what you've done to your client, as well as just being there for them. Give them your number, tell them they can WhatsApp you, and when they need help. Obviously, sometimes you might regret that decision, but overall, people just to have you there as a bit of a coach as well is really great for clients. Okay, now we're going to talk about marketing yourself. Obviously, I suppose social media is a bit more of my expertise and kind of where I have learned to market myself, but equally how you can market yourself in the gym as a day-to-day person. We've already touched on it briefly, but we're going to just make sure we cover it in this little section. As a personal trainer, you are going to be doing awfully antisocial hours. You're going to probably be getting up at about 5 a.m. If you start work at 6 a.m. Personally, I start work at 7 a.m, so I get up at about 5:30, 5:45, and you're going to finish work at probably 8, 9, 10 p.m. at night. And often in the middle of the day, you have these big gaps of time where your clients are at work, or you just haven't booked anyone in. And so I think it's really important to try to hold off napping and really use that time effectively. This is the key moment for you to start building your brand, your business, and your presence online and in your local area. Obviously, if you don't already, go and set yourself up a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram account, Snapchat if you want to do it, and you may even want to do a YouTube channel, I don't know. To be honest, this is one of my favourite things I've ever done, and I do not regret it. And then use the time you've got to start creating content for all those channels so that people see you across those channels and they see your work. You might not want to do what I do, you might not want to go down the kind of fitness blogging route. You might want to be known as a trainer you know, a PT that specialises in body transformations in 12 weeks, that might be you. And so what I suggest is then you might want to start posting transformation pictures of your clients. You might want to start training video. You might want to start posting video clips of workouts on Instagram, on Facebook. You might want to start doing little videos, like 1-minute videos on Facebook with like nutrition tips. I don't know. Whatever you do, get creative, do something a bit different, see what people aren't doing and then try and do that. And do it all with your own style and your own kind of mark on it, so that that's your brand and that's your way of doing things. I really strongly recommend getting on all social medias, because as the world evolves, I mean, it's booming. The health and fitness industry online is just constantly expanding. There's so much stuff, especially in London. The scene is massive, and if you can be part of that scene, then you're already visible to a lot more potential clients. So of course I've spoken about online, but I think it's really, really important to just market yourself in your local area. I'm based in London, so like I said, there's a huge health and fitness scene, and so for me, I like to go to lots of events, I train in different gyms, I meet different trainers, I meet different brands, and that is how I connect with the people around me. However, if you're, I don't know, up in Yorkshire somewhere, and you know, it's not quite London, you don't have every studio, you don't have a big gym on every corner, how are you going to get involved in the community? What are you going to do? You might think there's no health and fitness scene in your town, but there will be. Make it. Start running a boot camp in the local village hall or something. Meet the other personal trainers in your area, work out, maybe you could all join together and do a big fitness event. Go and train with them, create video content with the local trainers in your area and let people see that you are part of that scene. Try and teach classes in different gyms in the area too. Whatever you've got to do, like find the scene, find the people who are into health and fitness in your area, in your county or whatever, and just meet them all. So I really strongly recommend networking in your area, and yeah, get some leaflets, get some business cards, leave them in shops, you know, hand them out to everyone you meet. You can't go wrong. Whew, okay. We've been rambling a while now. I feel like I've got all of that off my chest. I hope that's been helpful so far. So I asked you guys on Snapchat if you wanted to know anything about my personal training career, about any tips or anything at all. And so I thought I'd include some of them now because they're really relevant to this video. Okay, I've got them all written down here. So the first one was, what was my biggest concern starting out as a PT? Honestly, my biggest concern was, am I going to make this work? Will I be able to pay my gym rent? That was a huge concern at the time. And will I be able to make a living so I can live in London? I think I knew when I first started that I was really determined to make it work, and I really had the drive, and I'm so passionate about this job and this career that I really don't mind doing the hours, and I enjoy putting in the work, and it feels really rewarding to like go and teach classes, to go and get involved with all sorts of things. I was really positive that I was going to make it happen, and my mindset was right. My head was in the game, and I got it done. I did it. Would I be comfortable money-wise without the extra projects I do on the side? So this girl's referring to projects such as Girl Games, Secret Hit Club, other events I do, blogging projects, social media work, etc. Yes, I would be, because I would probably be doing more PT than I'm doing now. At the moment, I've slightly reduced my PT hours to about 4 days a week, so I have time to do all my other work and catch up on all my admin and emails and all that kind of stuff. And I also don't PT throughout the day. I only PT in mornings and evenings, really, bar the odd few people. And so in the middle of those days, that's when I often go to meetings, I get my work done, I come and, you know, do this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's how I make it work. But I think I would be like, I think the drive I have to make my whole business work and all my other different things work now, I would just put into just personal training, and I would really go for it. How much flexibility do I get when choosing my work? This is my favourite part about being self-employed and being a personal trainer. I completely dictate my work hours. Now, in some ways that has its pluses and its minuses. On the plus side, yes, I do dictate my hours. So often, like for example, when I've wanted to go away on press trips, or I've wanted to go away for the weekend with Jack, I've been able to schedule my diary, so I might, you know, not work on a Friday and go away, and I've done a lot of that recently. Or I might be able to, you know, 3 days in the middle of the week, I can work out my schedule so I can make that work, and I don't have to ask anyone's permission. That's awesome. However, the minus side is I have to reschedule that time and I have to make it work, which can often mean I have to do crazy hours other days. I do 12-hour working days is kind of a standard, do you know what, when you love what you do, 12 hours doesn't seem like anything and you don't even care and you just love it. This is a really interesting question. What are my golden rules for training my clients, and what's my most important aim or message from my training sessions? This is really interesting. Every trainer has their own style and what they want to get out of the session. A lot of people go in there with, I'm going to transform my client's body and we're going to get them down to this body fat percentage and we're going to put them on the scales every week and do all that kind of stuff. That's not really my vibe at the moment. It's something I like to do in a bit more of a holistic way. So I consider myself quite a holistic personal trainer. I like to look at the body and I do like to focus on that, and if people want to lose weight we can work towards that. But I really like to look at the mindset of each of my clients, about their happiness, their overall well-being. That's all really important to me, and my main thing I want to get out of my personal training sessions with my clients is I want them to feel comfortable in their own skin. I want them to feel happy with their workout, and I want them to feel empowered enough to go and implement what we do in the sessions on their own. I don't want my clients to rely on me. I actually don't want that. I want to educate them. I want them to understand how to train themselves on their own, how to, if I give them a plan, how to go and execute that plan. So that's what I want to do. Especially my female clients, I feel like I love them so much, and I just want each and every one of them to just love themselves, you know, leave the session feeling really good about themselves. That's my main aim. This is another hard one. Okay, if I had to choose PT or social media blogging, what would I choose as my full-time career? I couldn't. I just couldn't. I think that's why I love my job so much, because it's so diverse. One day I'll be training clients, I'll be teaching a spin class, I'll be having a meeting, and then I'll come home and film a YouTube video. That might be, okay, that would be a very busy day, but that would be, you know, that's my days. Like, they're so random. I love that. Like, I love my job, that it's so diverse. I couldn't choose. I just couldn't. I couldn't. I have chatted enough today, but I really hope this has been helpful. Like I said before in the last video, I know this is a bit niche. I know this is really for those people that are looking to kickstart their personal training career and a career in health and fitness. But I just thought I would have appreciated these videos so much when I was starting out. So I'm really hoping these are helping you. Please let me know what you think below. What else you want me to talk about when it comes to personal training careers and stuff. But thank you so much for watching. There'll be a new video up on Sunday. Love you all. Please like, please subscribe. But until then, goodbye. Goodbye.